This is a rating video for Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, the finale, part 4 of Quad Shot. Click in the link in the description below to go watch my reaction, then go back to my full thoughts, ideas, and theories about these episodes, and my ultimate conclusion for the show and everything, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, click away now, or be spoiled as to what happened in these episodes. Okay. So, like I said in my near the end of my reaction, and everything, I do enjoy this show. It is really cool. It's a mix of like kind of slice of life, kind of funny moments, kind of stuff, but at the same time, it's got like really badass, like epically drawn battle sequences and like just over the top scenarios. With like all the dragons doing their like massive magic spells kind of thing, like in the sky and such. Very hilarious humor. I mean, the characters are really really good as well. All the dragon personalities are really funny and everything, and they kind of mix differently in the human world basically. It's very cool that each dragon basically has a home in the human world. So like Fafnir has a gamer kid or guy, not kid, but a gamer guy to hang out with and everything that he enjoys hanging out with. Then we have Lucilla, who has the little boy who summoned her, even though he didn't, but she sensed it and then intercepted it to then be summoned by him, and is now like part of his family and everything. Um, and she seems to enjoy his company and everything, whether it be just messing with him or just the company. I guess she enjoys it. Then we have Toru and Kana, who have basically found Miss Kobayashi as their chosen human, basically, of this world. Am I missing anybody? I think that Elma, but she never really chose a human per se. So I guess in a way she's the only dragon that did not choose a human. I mean, she kind of interacts with Kobayashi, but she doesn't live with her kind of thing. Like the other dragons kind of like live with their chosen human kind of thing. Elmo is the one that lives on her own, but that's probably because of her order kind of thing. Because like uh, Toru is part of the Chaos Clan, whereas Elma is part of the Order Clan, or something like that, right? Her clan's all about maintaining order and the opposite of chaos, basically. So because of that, she wants to be independent and make sure that she's following the rules, basically. So she's like, has her own place, she has her own job, even though she's not good at it, but she has her own job. She's learning slowly. That kind of stuff, which is really cool. So in Elma's case, she didn't choose a human to stay. She stayed for the experience more so than anything. Also, she doesn't have the power to return home. So she's kind of in a way stuck here, but she enjoys it. I think she does. She loves to eat a lot of the human food and everything. She enjoys that a lot. We saw at the very end there, she was walking by like a waffle shack or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, you want some waffles?" And she's like instinctively just went over there, bought it, and then she's like, "Wait," whatever like that. Like she's just like, "Why did I buy this?" kind of thing like that. Like she just does that normally, I guess. So that's really funny. So, but yeah, I like that aspect. How like we have these enormous, powerful freaking dragons come to our world, become human forms, and then just live out a human life for however long they want to stay here, basically. Because at the very end, it kind of brought up the idea that Toru wants to be with Kobayashi, but she's not going to, or Toru is going to outlive a normal human, right? Normal humans are like 70 years, and extended beyond that given medicine and stuff like that, kind of thing. So 100 years or whatever, or 110 years, depending on if you're like super lucky. But it depends on the situation of like every human. Everyone's different, basically. Um, so like so dragons live way longer than that, centuries long, so on and so forth. So having Toru come to that realization and choose to stay is very interesting. So she wants to live out the rest of Kobayashi's life in this world. Whether she stays here afterwards is kind of up in the air. Um, whether she finds something else to keep her here, to tie her down, basically, or does she just kind of move on with her life and go to a different realm, continue her dad's wishes, the Great War, and whatever in her dimension, kind of thing. Um, do My other question is, do the other dragons, Kana, Fafnir, uh, Elma, and I'm trying not to look at my cheat sheet here, just to kind of remember the names a bit more. But Lucula, do all the other dragons go with Toru if she does leave? We know that Elma doesn't have the power herself to summon a portal. Um, that could be different because each dragon has like a different power set to do it. Toru is the only one who can actively open portals, regardless. She's just powerful. She's like extremely powerful, kind of thing. We've learned that Elma was on the same level as Toru, but in a different way. She's not like super strong, but she's better at certain things than Toru is. Then we have Kana. She can recharge with electricity and everything, and we've seen her actually use a portal to get to Toru when she was fighting her dad. So maybe Kana has a little bit of power going between worlds, but she just doesn't, kind of thing. Maybe she just followed the the gate, kind of thing, that the dad opened. But yeah, and I think Fafnir and Lucula both are powerful enough to open gates themselves, because that's how they kind of got to this world. It wasn't like Toru went and got them and then brought them back, kind of thing. It's just a case that they just kind of popped in one day and they're like, "Oh hey," that kind of thing. So I think Fafnir and Lucula have the ability to go between dimensions at will. You would think Fafnir would have the power to do so. So is Lucula, like the ex goddess, or whatever, would have the power to do so. But then we have Kana, which I can't remember how she got to this world. I feel like it was maybe I know Elma snuck in because of what Toru did. Because Toru went to a different realm to get like a berry bush thing or whatever like that. She snuck to a different dimension, brought it back, and then that's how Elma got in. Was she piggybacked off the portal, basically? But I can't remember about Kana. I think she was banished. That's right. She says she was banished. I wonder if she actually was banished. I don't know. But anyways, she was banished to this world apparently. So I guess they probably opened a gateway for her to go through, kind of thing. But I don't know. I do enjoy the dragon aspect of this. It's very, very cool. It's very interesting, kind of fun and interesting kind of side effects of their world seeping into their normal everyday lives, kind of thing. We had Toru use magic and everything constantly to fix things. Whenever she broke something, she just repairs it again, kind of thing. When she first arrived to be the maid, she just decimated the entire room, burned it to dust, and then just yeah, it's clean, there's nothing alive, kind of thing, it's all spotless because she burned away everything, and then just has to revert it back time, revert time back again to fix everything. So that was really funny of her doing stuff like that. Kana doing stuff like that, but in a different way. Kana didn't like to blow stuff up or like repair stuff, but she used her tail to like um plug into like the light socket, or the, sorry, not the light sockets, the outlets of the wall, or like, whatever, to charge her back up again, kind of thing. And we've seen her do. We didn't really see her do the wings until the very end, so that was kind of interesting. Before, we've seen Toru do it like her like human wings, basically, like her human form, and then like her tail pops out, and then like her kind of half wings come out, whatever, like that, and she flies. But with Kana, we never really saw her do that before until the very end. I got something in my eye all of a sudden. What the heck? But yeah, at the very end, when the dad appeared and everything, to like bring Toru back for the second time, Kana actually brought her wings out for the first time, like kind of like the bird, or whatever element she is, or like whatever type of dragon she is, like the kind of feathery whatever bird, wings, dragon wings. She actually brought them out for a second to kind of float and like see what was going on, kind of thing. So that was really interesting. But other than that, Kana never really did anything outside of like the combat scenarios when like her and Toru were kind of like messing around or whatever. She did a little bit with the dodgeball thing, but I don't know if she went all out dragon mode on that. I think she kind of held it in. Also with the festival too as well. She didn't go all out dragon mode on that. She left it human mode kind of thing. Like she didn't go all dragon mode on everything. She's kind of ran normally. I was trying to remember if anything else happened from Kana. I think that's it in terms of like her dragon powers. I'm probably forgetting something. Honestly, I'm probably forgetting something early on, or whatever. Lucilla. The only thing we've seen her do magic-wise is basically how she met her human. Basically, Lucilla sensed that someone was being summoned or using a summoning spell or like that to summon a demon. So Lucilla intercepted it. That was like her power that we saw. But beyond that, I don't think we saw anything else big. Again, there's probably something that I'm missing, in terms of magic power that she did. I know Fafnir has been doing a lot in terms of spells and things, because he wrote 2 books about curses. So in a way, that's his thing. He's the curse dragon, or whatever. So we've seen him do it quite a bit. We haven't really seen him do too much beyond like the big battle sequences kind of thing. I mean, even then, we never really saw. I mean, we saw the aftermath of like their like dodgeball thing when like all 4 dragons were like attacking each other kind of thing. At like the playground, whatever. Like I guess in a sense we saw their strength more than anything, because like they were like breaking the ground, shattering the ground, throwing fireballs, and like throwing balls at such high speed like it burns the ground, that sort of stuff. We saw that side of them, but not really too much spell stuff. Obviously we saw, like I said, Toru, tons of spells here and there. Dragon's breath, that kind of stuff. Like my favorite part was the firework when they lit the little kind of sparkler firework last week, or last part when we watched part 3 of Dragon Maid. They lit a little firework that like kind of like a little sparkler like kind of thing, and it was called like dragon's breath or something like that. And this is a little kind of sparkler thing. It's like yay kind of thing, and then Toru's like, that's it, kind of thing. And just like, this is how a real dragon breath is. And she like just like breathed in like this like massive breath and just like looked up and went, bah! Just like this massive pillar of fire that just like ignited and just like you see like the almost like a volcano would, right? Like just like eruption, like from the top of it, which was fantastic to watch. But we've seen Toru do other things like shoot fire into a specific zone of the sky to eliminate the clouds, and we saw her do like that multiple times just to eliminate all the clouds. So it's a sunny day instead of like a cloudy day or like a rainy day or whatever. Um, so we've seen that happen. That's how Kana found Toru as well. Was when Toru did that. Um, Obviously, we've seen Toru do the invisibility or the illusion or masking or whatever power that is multiple times, not only on herself but also Kana um, a few times. And obviously, I guess the big magic thing that we've seen all dragons do is going from dragon form to human form. Like obviously, that's like the biggest one that we've seen all dragons do, is like the human form transformation magic kind of thing. Um, so, and I guess the portals too as well, going between dimensions. That's like another skill spell thing that they do. So all in all, the dragons are cool. I like them a lot. The humans are pretty interesting. Kobayashi, very cool. How her like transition between um, kind of not really feeling the idea of having a dragon with her, but kind of like okay with it, to like near the end, how she like couldn't live without her kind of thing, which is very very cool. Like the kind of like overarching feelings that she's had towards Toru and Kana and the rest of the dragons, basically. That was really cool to see, as well as Takia, the guy, the nerd guy with Fafnir, that lives with Fafnir, or Fafnir lives with him. Him as well. I didn't really see a difference in him in terms of um, like an overarching like um, change, because we never really got to see Takie's kind of personal side when we first met him, kind of thing. I mean, we saw a little bit of him, but like not too much, kind of thing. Um, so I'm not sure how he was prior to Fafnir, like in the home, kind of like what he was. He lonely? Was he that kind of stuff? Like I'm not sure anything about him in that case, but um, it seems that he enjoys Fafnir's company, and Fafnir helps him, kind of thing, like run the house with like game ideas and um, testing things and so on and so forth. So um, I think in that sense, he's made a good friend there, and grew, to whatever degree in terms of making a long lasting friend. So hopefully, Fafnir kind of sees that. It doesn't kill him in his sleep, or or whatever, curse him, or whatever. So I think that relationship between Fafnir and him are going to be pretty solid. Um, so yeah, and the boy that Lucula lives with, the one who summoned her, um, he seems he seems pretty much the same. Um, very shy kind of thing. He never really grew out of that. He never really became too like okay with this with this situation. He's always kind of shy, always kind of flipping out over Lucula's advances towards him, or whatever. Um, I think she enjoys teasing him, kind of thing, and he just flips out every time she does it. So in that sense, I'm not sure his progression, if he's changed at all. Mainly the big main one is Kobayashi's progress, basically throughout the whole show. So it's really cool to see that. Also, I guess in a way, I did forget about this, but yeah, Kana does have a human that she's chosen. In a way, it's Kana, or it's Kobayashi, um, but ultimately, her kind of chosen human friend that she always goes around with is that one kid from her school, like the girl, um, and that girl has a sister who is a maid, basically, and that's when Toru kind of went crazy with jealousy when Kobayashi met with her and everything. But yeah, they're basically siblings. Basically, the sister and the maid are sisters. Um, but the older sister is like the maid, or wants to be a maid, is a maid, or whatnot, whatever. Um, but that progression was pretty interesting because um, the girl in school, I guess, was sort of teasing Kana, but Kana kind of just like never really did anything about it, kind of thing. But then Kana kind of made friends with her, and then she kind of got like interested and like shy, and then like in love, kind of thing in a way. And then every single time Kana did something to interact with her, really brush up against her, whatever, even just thoughts about what Kana might do would like just throw her into like this hissy fit kind of thing about like just like falling in love or like over acute overload sort of stuff. Um, so that I guess that's a bit of like a progress towards like how she is now kind of thing. Now she's like just all lovey dovey. They're her and Kana kind of like are very close in that sense. When they first met, they weren't that really close kind of thing, just kind of friends, and then they kind of got a little bit more how they are now kind of thing. So there's a little bit of progress there. So I guess in terms of the humans, um, the only human that I see that did not really get a big kind of progress jump was Lucula's human, the kid, the boy. He never really got to have too much backstory to him. I mean, just a little bit, just here and there kind of stuff, but there was no like kind of overarching thing or hurdle for him to kind of like jump over. Um, he's just always kind of been, I guess, okay, no, there was one scene this group episodes that we did see him kind of jokingly throw like these stones or whatever they were. Like I don't know what they were, but like little stuff at Lucula. Lucula had like this demon mask on her, and then she was like, begone, or he was going, begone, demon, whatever, and then she's like says it again and again and again, just kind of slowly pushing her back, and then she leaves the house, and then he kind of sits there for a second, and he's like, oh god, is she actually gone? And then he like opens the door and like he's like, look at that, and she's right there. So I guess in that sense, he did have like a progression in terms of like at first he never wanted Lucula in a way, and then kind of was convinced to have Lucula stay, and then now he wants her to stay, kind of thing, like really wants her to stay, because at the very end we saw that, and like I said, like he he thought he actually did like expel her from this world kind of thing. So he was worried about her kind of thing. So like that kind of progression is very cool. So I guess all the humans had a little hurdle to jump over kind of thing, but Kobayashi above everybody else had the biggest hurdles, like multiple hurdles at some points. Even the biggest hurdle being the dad, Toru's dad. So jumping over the small hurdles of like getting a bigger apartment, kind of getting used to having a maid live with you with like dragons and everything like that. The hurdle of leaving the dragons to do their own stuff and not constantly be there telling them what to do. Like for instance, the play, right? Like that was a big thing. She was like worried that they were going to overdo it. But they were fine about it kind of thing. So that was like a little hurdle to jump over. What else? What else? What else? I guess the little stuff like jealousy and that kind of thing, for the dragons to kind of hurdle over to learn about the new world kind of stuff. But yeah, I think Kobayashi had the biggest hurdles, and then the biggest hurdle with the dad and everything. But it was very very cool, and like I said, seeing the dragons kind of acclimate themselves to the world and like learn the humans rules and better understand the world to blend in slash understand slash whatever the humans rules and such is very very cool. Like the cultures and the stories and the food and stuff like that. Like all the stuff the humans do, basically the dragons had to like learn from and learn by doing. I guess in terms of Fafnir, all the video games and everything like that, all the friends he's made online, um, he friends in the real life, stuff like that, is very very interesting. So I think that's it. It's a very very cool show. If there is any more, a new season or whatever, I am more than happy to do a reaction for it because it's a very fun series. I did really like it a lot. Um, I would like to see more dimensions in the future. Like I wonder if Kobayashi would actually be dragged into a different dimension, uh, whereas like maybe on a holiday thing or not by choice. Like so another dragon comes in or being, whatever, grabs Kobayashi, brings her to different dimension, and then like Toru and Kana and Fafnir and Lucilla and Elma all have to like band together to go rescue Kobayashi, stuff like that. Like that would be really really interesting to see the different dimensions and everything. Um, what else? What else? What else? I was trying to think of like stuff like that could happen. I mean, just like like I said, most of this stuff in this series seems to be like slice of life kind of stuff. So more stuff like that is always fun. Um, Obviously, I know there's a chance like nothing else will come of this series, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. Um, if like I said, if they did have a second season or series like that, um, I think it'd be good. It'd be really cool. I just don't know where they can go with it. I'm obviously like they have like some kind of like big moment at the end of the season, like they did this season with the dad. Um, but ultimately, it's just like looking at the dragons, live their lives in the new world, and the humans and the dragons kind of like melding together to make like a bond relationship between all of them, depending on Fafnir and Tokia, Tobayashi, uh, or Kobayashi, not Tobayashi, Kobayashi and Toru, Kana and Kobayashi and the girl from school, and then Lucilla, and then Lucilla's boy or whatever. Then Elma, just like in the world, basically. All that kind of stuff is really interesting. So if there's a second season, I hope they touch on stuff like that more, as well as like an overarching kind of like plot, kind of thing. Like maybe more chaos dragons come in, or maybe the dad's right and the dragons do come in to invade this world, and dragons that we have now, Toru, Kana, Fafnir, Lucilla, and Elma all have to defend the human world from these invader dragons, or whatever. So stuff like that might be kind of cool. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and tune in next week, like I said, or not next week, but the first Friday of next month, to enjoy the next quad shot, which is Charlotte. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys then for the new series. Take care, buddy.